सो हम लोग जैसे रियलिटी टीवी शोज की बात कर रहे हैं. सो एवरी रियलिटी टीवी शो हैज अ स्क्रिप्ट, यू नो. तो क्या आपको भी कोई स्क्रिप्ट दी गई थी कि आपको ऐसे बोलना है, ऐसे रिएक्ट करना है? वाज देयर एनी स्क्रिप्ट इन्वॉल्व?
I should not have been saying this, but yes, it is completely, it's all scripted.
It's all scripted.
Yes, so we reached there 3 days prior to the shoot, and 3 days the rehearsal with the script पे. And so it was that kind of pitch. It was an entire skit which we planned. But when we went there,
शार्क टैंक इंडिया. आज पूरा देश इस शो को बहुत प्यार दे रहा है और जो आने वाले एंटरप्रेन्योर्स हैं वो आज के एंटरप्रेन्योर्स से इंस्पिरेशन ले रहे हैं, वो चीजें समझ रहे हैं कि हाउ अ पिच एक्चुअली वर्क्स, हाउ डू यू रेज फंड्स एंड ऑल ऑफ दैट. बट अ बिग क्वेश्चन हियर इज, डू वी एक्चुअली नो द रियलिटी बिहाइंड शार्क टैंक? असल में शार्क टैंक में होता क्या है? एक पिच कितनी बड़ी होती है, क्या क्या चीजें इन्वॉल्व होती है, और इज देयर एनी डार्क साइड ऑफ शार्क टैंक? To clear all your doubts और क्या सच है और क्या झूठ है, to discuss everything, joining us today is CEO and founder of Homversity, Saurav Kumar Sinha. सौरभ एपिसोड 3 में फीचर हुए थे ऑफ शार्क टैंक इंडिया सीजन 3. सो वहां क्या हुआ? आपने अगर उनकी पिच देखी है तो आपको क्या अच्छा लगा, क्या खराब लगा? यू कैन टेल अस इन द कमेंट सेक्शन. So without wasting any time, we are going to move forward directly to the interview, and I'm going to bring the man in front of the camera, and let's face the reality. क्या सच है, क्या झूठ है? Everything about Shark Tank India. So welcome back to the episode, Saurav. So I can't believe it's been 2 months. आप 2 महीने पहले भी आए थे, हमारे साथ एक पॉडकास्ट शूट किया, और आई थिंक इन 2 महीनों में बहुत सारी चीजें चेंज हुई. यू हैव बीन टू शार्क टैंक सीजन 3. आप एपिसोड 3 में फीचर हुए थे, एंड आफ्टर दैट द एंटायर थिंग हैज टेकन द इंटरनेट बाय स्टॉर्म. Everyone is talking about Homversity, everyone is talking about you, your pitch in Shark Tank. तो हम लोग उन सब चीजों के बारे में बात करेंगे, बट पहले आप ये बात बताओ, आप कब से छुपा रहे थे शार्क टैंक वाली बात?
so first of all, hi Ritesh, and yes, I'm glad to be back here. So Shark Tank वाली बात almost 9-10 months we were hiding it. Technically, process शुरू हो गया था जून के अराउंड ही. Okay, multiple stages होते हैं इसके selection processes में. और जब फाइनल शूट हुआ उसके बाद it was very difficult to keep it a secret, क्योंकि बहुत सारी चीजें बताने के लिए we were very excited, and the entire shooting process was very very different for us, because it was not a business pitch. It was kind of a reality TV show vibe, because it is shot in Film City, Dada Sarfal ke Film City, and it was the first time where entrepreneurs like me were going to a commercial set with 1,000 people handling cameras and sound and audio, and it's a huge set, like one of the biggest sets I've seen in my life. Okay, huge. You can't even picturize it. Okay, so
अमेजिंग. सो हम लोग उन सब चीजों के बारे में बात करेंगे कि शार्क टैंक में जाने से पहले क्या हुआ, शार्क टैंक में जाने के बाद क्या हुआ, और बहुत सारी चीजें हैं दैट यू ऑब्वियसली वांट टू डिस्कस. और हमारे बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस हैं जब आपका पिच मैंने देखा. सो आई हैव आल्सो गॉट अ लॉट ऑफ पर्सनल क्वेश्चंस, सो वो सब मैं पूछूंगा. बट पहले एक कॉमन क्वेरी के ऊपर बात करते हैं, कॉमन डाउट के ऊपर बात करते हैं. आपकी जो पिच थी एपिसोड में जो दिखाई गई, दैट इज लाइक ऑलमोस्ट 15 मिनट्स, अराउंड 15 मिनट्स की पिच थी. असल में एक पिच कितनी लंबी होती है शार्क टैंक में?
So, just the fact that Homversity's pitch was one of the longest pitches in this season. Okay, generally pitches 1 घंटे की होती है, 1 hour. Okay, ours was close to 1 hour 15-18 minutes, and it is not कि बीच में cut होता है and retakes होते हैं. It is not like that. It is one flow of 1 hour 15 minutes, out of which they pick the best 15 minutes according to them. And they show it to you, and उसमें बहुत सारा cut paste भी होता है, like they, because they have limited time on the television, especially on the television, because I think not every startup who pitches there gets to television. There's only like I think 30-40% gets to the television slot, otherwise only YouTube पे तो सब आता है, right? So when they air it on a TV channel, there is a very short slot which they have to stick to. So that's why they cut it to say 15-20 minutes, not 20 minutes, 15 minutes max.
सो हम लोग जैसे रियलिटी टीवी शोज की बात कर रहे हैं. सो एवरी रियलिटी टीवी शो हैज अ स्क्रिप्ट, यू नो. तो क्या आपको भी कोई स्क्रिप्ट दी गई थी कि आपको ऐसे बोलना है, ऐसे रिएक्ट करना है? वाज देयर एनी स्क्रिप्ट इन्वॉल्व?
I should not have been saying this, but yes, it is completely, it's all scripted.
It's all scripted.
Yes, so we reached there 3 days prior to the shoot, and 3 days the rehearsal with the script पे. So the initial pitch that we had It involved not just me pitching, but 3, 4 more people, the founding team members, the founding employees of the company. Some of them were also part of that pitch. One was a student, another was a parent, you know. So it was that kind of pitch. It was an entire skit which we planned. But when we went there, and the skit was rehearsed for the first time in front of camera, uh, they did not pass it, okay, because they believe that I should be pitching uh, due to certain reasons, so that I mean, my voice was better for the camera for them. So they changed everything. This team sat, wrote a pitch. Everything was written. Like I can read it to you. I have a script on my screen. Saurav Sinha enters the tank with a bag in his hand. Everything. Where are you going to stop? What are you going to pull out? What are you going to say? Word by word, paragraph by paragraph. Uh, I mean, the initial pitch is scripted. The conversation is not. Yeah, but they just give you a hint technically on what to say. You can always make changes to it and suggest changes to it. But you need to understand that it is not a closed door pitch. It's going to be viewed by 30, 40 crore people, right? So it has to be perfect. You cannot go there and be, a lot of people get nervous. You cannot imagine the amount of stress which is there. It is like watching it from the stands and someone playing in batting.
So obviously you are sitting in front of like one of the all the faces of this country, all the young entrepreneurs. It is Ritesh Agrawal, Anupam Mittal, and everyone's there.
That is not something people are stressed about. First of all, they're not intimidating people. We have pitched to people who are way too serious, way too high profile than them. But the thing that creates that stress is that India is going to watch you, the world is going to watch you. Speak, what do you say, how you present, how you stand, how you walk, how you smile. Everything is going to be analyzed by people, your customers, your partners, your investors, everybody. So it has to be perfect. And so that is the stress. And वो door खुलने के पहले, when the music plays and the door opens up, I will always remember that experience. It's crazy, and I was gathering all my courage, and before the door entered, and yeah, then that happened.
So that's really amazing because that feat, I was seeing you walking out with the backpack in your hand, that confidence in your walk was there and everyone saw it. Right. And then there was, I guess, Anupam Mittal pointing his finger at you, and then your pitch started. So it was a really mesmerizing thing to watch. So another thing that I'm coming to the point here, like, was your aim to raise funds there because you have like asked for 60 lakhs for 2% of your company? So how did you decide that you need 60 lakhs for 2%, or what was the reason you went there to Shark Tank?
Well, we already have a higher valuation on the table, way higher. Okay. Why we went there? Because so generally in terms of startups, there is a term called CCPS. It's a shares distribution system, convertible share. So when we were pitching to Shark Tank, the entire finance business team sits with every entrepreneur who pitches there a day prior to the pitch, and their agenda is to make it easy for the normal janta to understand. Okay. What you see there was part of the pitch. Later on, a lot of discussion happened on valuation also. When we clarified that the valuation is already higher, we are giving you a valuation so that it is easier. वो equity offer करना होता है वहाँ पे, percentage offer करना होता है वहाँ पे. आप CCPS explain करने जाओगे तो 10 मिनट उसमें ही चला जाएगा, right? So वो valuation बहुत लोगों ने वहाँ पे define suggest किया to do that. We already have a lot of investors वहाँ पे fundraise करने नहीं गए थे. You also know that. Everybody knows that. So we already have some more than 26 great investors, So yeah, it is a different thing. We went there so that हमारी बात बच्चों तक पहुँचे, parents तक पहुँचे, सही तरीके से पहुँचे, और वो पहुँची fortunately. That is I'm glad.
So we are going to talk about that also. कि post Shark Tank क्या हुआ, क्या क्या changes आए Homversity में, आपको कैसा response मिला. We are going to talk about that also. But मेरे एक personal doubt है जो मैं पूछना चाहता हूँ आपसे. I was seeing Ritesh Agrawal sitting there, the person who knows this housing industry, this accommodation industry, but throughout the entire pitch, he was so silent. He didn't ask you a single question. But in the end, when it comes to giving you the verdict, so he said, why don't you just focus on Dehradun and Kota and become the king of Kota, king of Dehradun? So that was the only response, which I was shocked. And I think most of the people watching that pitch or watching that episode will be shocked. Because the person who knows this industry is not talking about his industry. So क्या बात हुई थी रितेश अग्रवाल के साथ? I'm pretty sure उन्होंने बहुत कुछ बोला होगा, but दिखाया बहुत कुछ.
This is not just your observation. If you go to the YouTube video, which has over nearly 1 million views now, over 700,000 views now, and you will see most of the comments are with people shocked like you know, that they were hoping that Ritesh would jump in quickly, see, I don't want to make it a controversy when I say something because it will flow around very quickly.
Yeah.
I don't want to say something that becomes a little bit controversial, right? But what I say that what happened over there was not normal, okay? Because he knows very well that how big this problem is, and he knows everything inside. How much desperately the country needs a solution to this problem that we're serving, and him not saying anything. For example, if you take my case, I get messages from students all across the country, from different parts of the country and different universities, जो हमें कहते हैं that कि भैया, what are you doing? We are also trying to do this in our university. Someone in Sikkim, someone in Chandigarh, someone in parts of Bhubaneswar, and to them I always say कि good one guys, do it however we can help. We try to help them out. बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट के पॉडकास्ट देखने के बाद ये बात बोलेंगे भी कि we always take out time for them and we always guide them कि ये करो, ये मत करो, ऐसे करो, वैसे करो, and everything, because we know कि this industry would not be solved by one company overnight. It's a very big problem. It will take a bigger solution, which we are building, right? So why Ritesh was quite has multiple takes on it. A lot of people are commenting different things on it. I would just say probably it was due to, as we are a competitor, he must be having his own set of restrictions towards his company to say something towards us, or join, or put some money in us. That's the most humble way I can put this. Okay, but yeah, of course it was not normal. So I cannot say a lot of things, Ritesh, but yeah.
Yeah, so the best example if I have to give you for this scenario, अगर आपने episode 1 देखा होगा, तो there was this lady who used to make gluten-free and organic food that she used to offer, to which Dipendra Goyal replied that I won't be able to invest in your venture because I have got some restrictions that I cannot fund, or I cannot promote restaurants and everything like bakery. So I guess this is the same reason that we can relate with. But one of the reasons that I have personally noticed in Homversity and the other competitors, let me share you a very good incident that happened with me recently. Like, one of my friends, he's in Kota and he uses Homversity as his accommodation partner. So his experience is really good there. And I can say it clearly. I was in Delhi last month, in January. I was in Delhi. So there, my first option was Homversity. I checked out the entire website, the place where I was staying, but unfortunately, I cannot find any hostels there. So I opted for one of the competitions, I would say. I won't take their name, but it starts with Z. If you can guess it, it's a 4-letter startup. So I opted for their accommodation, and to be honest, I was scammed. They took like almost 19,000 as security money they took in front. Then I paid 19,000 as the rent. Then they didn't tell me about their notice period. How do I put the notice and what are the fees that they're going to charge? And you won't believe, I stayed there for almost 15 days. My electricity bill was 3,000. In the deep winters of Delhi, I called their customer care for almost 10 to 12 times, but no response, no action taken. Unfortunately, I have to lose half of my security money that I've deposited. So it was the worst experience. But my friend who is living in Kota, he's not at all worried about his hostels or the services that are provided. This is one of the USPs of the things that you're providing. And obviously, we know about the criteria, the parameters. We all have seen that in the episode. Well, coming to another question that I have in mind. What I was actually seeing, I've seen all the other episodes also. So there are companies which are already in debt. Some of them are not even into profit. Some किसी का branding भी उतना अच्छा नहीं है. They have complained about their branding, packaging and everything, but they're still getting funded. Like, sharks are jumping. Okay, I'll help you out. Why not with you?
Yesterday night I got a phone call from a distant part of the country. It was someone who just watched the episode and called me. I don't know how he got my number. He was very excited. It was around 9:30 at night. Okay. He said, if I just can get 5 minutes, I just want to share something with you. And I बोला, definitely, sir, please tell me. उन्होंने बोला कि sort of quoting something similar to what you just asked me. Okay. He said कि whenever a company airs on Shark Tank, right, either the idea is not strong, either the solution or the product is not strong, or the founder is not strong, or the branding is not strong, right? There is always one of those things that, or more than one of those things that, tilt an idea towards not getting funded on Shark Tank, right? But in Homversity's case, everything was strong. The problem was very strong. The idea was very strong. The pitch was very strong. The team was strong. The marketing and branding was very strong. What went wrong, right? And a lot of queries of people would be answered on the comment section of the YouTube. आप देखो जाके जनता ने जवाब दिया. You read those comments, you'll see कि like people were as confused as I was. Like we discussed, it was 1 hour 15-minute discussion, and in every pitch, it's not that I pitched इसलिए मैं ऐसा कह रहा हूँ. I pitched a lot across the globe, but in every pitch there is a point on which you can say, okay, इस वजह से fund नहीं मिलेगा, right?
Yeah, true.
If you saw our pitch and everybody said the same thing, I hope that's the perspective of people. There was no such point in our pitch कि इस वजह से fund नहीं मिलेगा, right? The way they got out, if you saw Vinita's answer of getting out, कि 13,000 is way too high, and 30 retention is not good, which is completely ironic because 13,000 is the most average rent in cities.
Yeah, true. I have experienced it firsthand. As a student, I can vouch for you. I
read a lot of comments that why is she so shocked? I'm sitting in a 17,000 room watching this episode. I'm sitting in a 20,000 room watching this episode. So this is one reason. Other one was 3-month retention. 3-month retention is a very good retention, and by retention, the question was, what is the average booking period? Okay, the question was not retention, but they took it as retention. What I said was, 3 months down the line, it is a possibility that the student might change to a hostel, which again is of Homversity, which happens a lot, So it is, and students change and working professionals change due to a lot of reasons, किसी का transfer हो गया, so that, and many reasons, right? And that is the freedom of not having a flat and a PG. You can always switch whenever you want, as per your convenience. So both of the reasons given were very shocking to me and very ironic to me, and everybody else watching. Other reason behind what Anupam Mittal said, that it's such a big problem that it will require a lot of money, a lot of time to build a solution towards it, right? If you remember, any big idea, any big solution requires a lot of efforts, a lot of time, a lot of resources to build it, right? Because if you want to open up for example, take the case study of Zomato, right? Zomato is not very different than what we are doing for hostel, they're doing for restaurants, right? The same approach, right? You cannot expect that Zomato, can be built in ₹1 crore overnight and become profitable in 18 months. That was the question of Mr. Ritesh Agrawal, right? You will have to go through the phase where you set the baseline, do the data study, do the right set of information gathering and showcasing it on the platform. Once you do that, then you are kind of becoming eligible to start generating revenue, right? It is a process, okay? And it is not we are not making chips and chocolates, and no disrespect to people who are making chips and chocolate, but you need to understand that in India there are two types of companies. I always say that, everywhere. I think I quoted this on the last episode, podcast also, that there are two types of companies in the country and in the world. One is a necessity brand, okay? For example, if I don't have a car and I want to come to the office or want to go somewhere else, I cannot book a cab without Ola. Okay, you can try, you'll fail or get scammed, right? If I don't know how to cook, I cannot order food directly from a restaurant if there's no Zomato or Swiggy in between, right? That's a necessity. Okay. On the other side, there are brands like you can order eggs online, or or you can order meat online, you can get some cosmetics online. That's a different affair. That's a luxury brand. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's a luxury service, right? Homversity is a necessity brand, and when we talk about a necessity brand, you pick any necessity brand in the world, जो भी आज successful है, बड़े हैं, from Ola, Zomato, anything in between, right? You'll see it takes time, it takes a lot of resources, a lot of iterations to the models as you adapt the market, and then it becomes what it becomes, right? So if the sharks would have given a justifiable response, I would be very happy. I was still happy because I expected this to happen. But none of the reasons were. I liked Aman's response. He was very upfront that he's unaware about the industry and a little scared about the industry because it's a big industry. Yeah, yeah, it's a big industry. And, he's scared about the industry, and it's a different thing. Okay, one can have a perspective towards it, but it was a genuine reason from his side. Rest all, I don't know. Yeah.
So there was one more response that I was quite confused about. Like it was said by Anupam Mittal, if I'm not wrong. He said like, Saurav, you should quit this business and go into some industries, work there for 4 or 5 years, and then start your business, and then it will be successful. And he has also quoted some things like it is impossible to make revenue or make profit into this industry. So what was your take onto this?
All right. So just a quick update. Probably last month we were close to breaking even. Next month we will be profitable again. Yeah. So just a quick update. So that impossible factor has already crossed. Okay. So see, that is the one thing that I see as why people are not a very big fan of Shark Tank India. Okay. When an entrepreneur reaches there, okay, he must have gone through a journey which is unheard, unspoken of, right? Which he knows, which his team, family knows, right? And even today, Anupam Mittal sir is a huge entrepreneur and a businessman, like 1,000 times bigger than me. But even today, if I meet a guy who is starting up, who is just making his first business plan, even a business plan, or trying to do the first sale, or has done the first sale and trying to raise some money. Whenever I meet him, I do tell him the realities. Of course, it is required कि भाई ये करो ऐसा करो ये मत करो ये नहीं होगा ये करो ये होगा ऐसे होगा, right? That thing. But I never put him down, okay? Because we are known to put someone down in front of others, right? I could have, and I would have said a lot of things which people would not have liked, right? But that was not. I'm not that type of guy. मेरा मानना है कि यार जिसको जो बोलना है बोलने दो, काम करो अपना, because your work speaks for you. मैंने last time भी आपको, right? कि your work speaks for you. And what his statement was कि आप energy बहुत है, goal भी है, but आप business maturity आएगी, आप कहीं और join करो and all that. उनको मैं ये कहना चाहूँगा कि सर कुछ नहीं से यहाँ तक पहुँचे हैं. एक हॉस्टल के रूम से 30 शहरों तक पहुंचे हैं. 30 शहरों से वहां पहुंचेंगे जहां 30 देशों तक पहुंचेंगे जहां हमें पहुंचना है. आप उसकी चिंता ना करें, ठीक है? बस यही उम्मीद करूंगा कि नेक्स्ट टाइम व्हेन समवन इज स्टैंडिंग देयर हु इज सॉल्विंग अ रियल problem, because I have faced that problem. I know how big of a problem this is, right? Just give them the right positive push so that no one gives a damn about whether you give me money or not. Okay, I'm telling you very honestly, every company that is coming on Shark Tank is not technically, most of them are not looking for funds. Yeah, right. But it is about giving a model validation to someone who's trying to do and solve a big problem, who is taking a lot of stress, a lot of work, a lot of hard work and perseverance towards making what he's doing and what the dream is. And if a solution like ours becomes successful down the line, it will be great for crores of students. I'm telling you, right? So yeah, so I was very so I did not take it personally. If you see, I didn't even respond to that. I said okay. Yeah, a lot of people called me. I got close to 100 phone calls. Saurav, you should have answered. Saurav, you should have said something to him why he quoted such thing. Because we have reached to a stage. We are not early stage, people. So everybody said that. If you read certain comments, maybe you should have answered. Why did you not answer to Anupam Mittal's last comment? Do not listen to him, but you should have answered. I believe there was nothing to answer him.
Let the words speak. Let the work speak.
Probably yes. Probably if I would have said something that would not have been that might not go the way I said it. राइट, इसलिए मैंने कुछ कहा नहीं, मैंने उनकी बात को दिल पे भी नहीं लगाया था. वेरी ऑनेस्टली आई एम टेलिंग, आई वाज वेरी हैप्पी with the entire pitch because we conveyed what we wanted to convey. Okay. And yeah, I hope that very soon, in the next 2 years, we reach that stage where we are on the other side of the table.
Yeah, yes, I believe that there will be time. क्योंकि so फिर से करते हैं. एक चीज है जो मैं यहाँ पे कोट करना चाहता हूँ, because I also felt that, because all the entrepreneurs out there, हम लोग जानते हैं हम लोगों ने कहाँ से शुरुआत की. जैसे आपने हॉस्टल रूम से शुरुआत की और आप अपने लाइफ के पहले 3-4 साल, होमवर्सिटी के पहले 3-4 साल यू वर एब्सेंट. आप सोशल मीडिया पे नहीं थे, आप कहीं पे नहीं थे. Nobody knew what you were doing, and neither your relatives, your friends, or any. Even I was quite curious कि बंदा कर क्या रहा है. But when you came out, when things started to make sense, तब पता चला कि हाँ बहुत ज़्यादा हार्ड वर्क लगा, जो आपने पिछले वीडियो में भी आपने एक्सप्लेन किया, how you travel from autos, travel on feet, just going to different cities, like you were thrown out, you were also being threatened, I guess, in Kota. So ये सब चीज़ों से गुजर के फिर यहाँ पहुंचे. तो obviously I think not the common people, I'm not blaming the common people, but at least the entrepreneurs should relate with, because कहीं ना कहीं हम लोग सब उसी स्टेज से शुरू करते हैं. हम मतलब वहाँ पे जितने लोग भी बैठे हैं, आई डोंट थिंक सो किसी के पास प्री बिल्ड बिजनेस था, कोई इनहेरिटेड बिजनेस नहीं था. एवरीबडी स्टार्टेड फ्रॉम स्क्रैच एंड देन दे केम टू दैट थिंग. सो दैट कमेंट वाज समथिंग दैट आई पर्सनली फेल्ट इट शुड नॉट बी देयर. बट कमिंग टू वन मोर थिंग, जैसे कि आपने बताया कि 1 घंटे 15 मिनट की पिच थी. सो जब एपिसोड एयर हुआ तो आपको लगा कि ये सेगमेंट उन्होंने क्यों नहीं डाला? आई थिंक दिस सेगमेंट शुड गो.
Of course. A lot of so there was one thing that happened. What Vinita was doing, that she like there was a small kind of a quick game which was played over there in a fun way. That she was asking Ritesh ki, how old were you when you did this, and sort of old were you when you did this? How old were you when you raised your first round? How old were you when you raised your first round? How old were you? But it was a competitive thing that she did. It would have been fun to watch. And other thing was ki our other models, the property management solution, the apps that are gold mines, which were not showcased on the stage. वहाँ पे सिर्फ एक booking model के बारे में दिखाया गया, and booking app के बारे में दिखाया गया. But every businesses were discussed. A lot of things were discussed. So yeah, that was something which was missing. A lot of things were missing there. You haven't seen 90%.
Yeah. So that's why you're here. And another thing that I wanted to ask, क्योंकि मुझे कहीं ना कहीं लगा कि throughout the pitch there was a miscommunication. Like शायद sharks समझ नहीं पा रहे थे कि आपका असल में क्या है. At first they thought that it is a hostel booking where you have all the hostels just like Oyo. Then they got to know कि you have different hostels. You have a SaaS application. So was there anything that you wanted to clarify कि नहीं, this is something that you are interpreting wrong. This is not the thing. So क्या था?
So when I entered, when the pitch started, and when so if you notice that as soon as the pitch ended, within a fraction of second, questions were very bombarded. Yeah. So the one thing that I still want to clarify is that we are not property operators. Why we are not so? Because, for example, the company that you mentioned, you went to Delhi and stayed in, they're operators.
Yeah.
Okay. The problem with operators, I hope this problem gets rectified soon with them. But to my knowledge, it's difficult to rectify that problem. The problem with operators is that it's a very capital extensive business. Okay. It takes millions and millions to operate, say, even hundreds of properties. So India may, as I mentioned, there are 3.5 crore students who enroll every year. Okay. And even if you have 1,000 properties that you're operating, which is on lease, you have paid you own the property, or it's on lease, you can serve on 100-bed ke average pay 1 lakh student. What Homversity's perspective was ki by serving just 1 lakh student out of 3.5 crore, you're not solving and even not addressing the problem.
Yeah.
Right. The approach has to be where you serve at least 50, 40, 60% of that audience. Okay. And the way to do it was being capital light, capex light, and service based. So Homversity, what I was trying to explain to them over there was we're different from operators. We control a property and we serve a property by, managing their services, managing their food, managing their housekeeping, managing their inventory through the technology, the rental collection structure through technology, and everything in between. And once we do that, you somehow control the property and standardize it without taking that property on lease. Okay, so that is the agenda, so that you can take, say, 2 lakh properties out of 5 lakh properties and serve them in the right way, rather than working with 100 properties, because you cannot do anything with those 100 properties, right? Yeah, that's very limited. And this is something which the sharks were not able to very clearly get, because वो हम सिर्फ एक मॉडल को जज कर रहे थे कि बुकिंग मॉडल. इफ यू रिमेंबर पीयूष बंसल की उन्होंने कहा कि he also started something like that search my campus is a discovery platform, nothing apart from that.
And there's one more thing that I want to point out कि जैसे आपका पिच खत्म हुआ, they started discussing about the competitors right away कि ये भी यही करता है, ये भी यही करता है. So I guess there was a perception जो उनके दिमाग में already बन चुका था that you are similar to your competitors, but actually the reality is completely different.
Pan India, very modestly I'm telling you that there is no company who is operating on an asset light model, organizing the standard service protocol, जो मतलब standard services जो हम देते हैं properties को, not just tech but the services, the food, the housekeeping, the entire umbrella of services which goes over a property and protects it and uplifts it, you know, वो करने वाला इंडिया में कोई और ब्रांड नहीं है, right? And it is not that easy to explain in 5 minutes to someone. You will have to listen how we do, what are the different models, how we operate, structure क्या है, you know, how we pick up a property. It's a very detailed business model, not just a listing platform which was projected there, you know. So of course it's a very different thing, and I hope through this I'm able to explain it a little more.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense right now. It makes a lot of sense. So now coming to the post Shark Tank scene, I have seen a story right away. Like people were voting. I guess there were 3 startups mentioned. Like out of which startup has the potential to reach a unicorn? I think most of the votes were to Homversity, and which I believe is fair. Like the Janta Janardhan hai, they know the reality. You cannot hide anything from the Janta. So Janta का क्या response रहा after your show got aired, after your episode got aired?
I saw that post the next. I saw that Instagram poll post the next morning on 25th, and I was not very surprised, because I really believe that if we solve this problem and support students and they support us, and the property owners support us and we support them, it is going to be a unicorn. It is going to be the finest unicorn in the country, not just on valuation but really value creation, baby. Okay, so post Shark Tank, a lot of things changed. I would like to tell you that इतना ट्रैफिक आ गया वेबसाइट पे, इतना ट्रैफिक आ गया कि नॉर्मल डेज पे पर मिनट यूजर्स 50 70 80 रहते होंगे. शार्क टैंक में आने के बाद वो 90,000 से भी ऊपर चला गया था. On normal days before Shark Tank, per minute sessions were close to 50-60 sessions per minute on the platform. Post Shark Tank, it was 90,000 sessions per minute. So, that is the level of uptick that happened, and we were a little bit prepared about it, but we were not fully prepared for it because we never anticipated this heavy traffic. सारे servers and CPUs, exhaust हो गए थे. The website was loading was getting messages from all parts of the India that bro, the website is loading. So 10 seconds ले रहा था, but 10 seconds is very slow.
Very बहुत time लगता है, बहुत time लगता है.
In the correct time. So a lot of people उसके बीच में they went to Play Store and saying you're not in Kolkata, you're not in Punjab, all would want to say that we will be everywhere, but we are working on a very very strategic way to increase the cities that we serve. ट्रैफिक बहुत हेवी है, अभी भी बहुत हेवी ट्रैफिक है. सारे हमें सबसे जो भी हमारे रिसोर्सेज में सबसे एक्सपेंसिव सर्विस हो सकते थे, सबसे पावरफुल सर्विस हो सकते थे, वो ले रखा है हमने. Still it is getting exhausted. So I hope this traffic gets maintained. ये maintain रहे ऐसे ही. I like that. I have no complaints for it. It is just we are adapting to the heavy traffic and the heavy load. A lot of improvements have been made to the platform to handle that traffic, because it's huge, and I am very thankful to the students of our country and people of our country for that.
They realized how precious this thing is, because as a student, I've already told you, it is one of the biggest problems for finding the right hostel to stay. And my experiences so far with the other applications, like I won't be commenting something on that either. It will be controversial from my side, but so far whatever experience my friend had, and I hope you soon expand to Delhi and all the big places, because I know pretty sure that all the students in college, they're soon going to turn into corporate guys, so they will be looking for hostels and PG for accommodation. So it's a never ending loop. So there is one more thing that I want to tell my audience and the people watching it कि आपने जो भी pitch देखी Shark Tank में, it is not just about your hostel room. या होमवर्सिटी आपके चार दीवारों से भी बाहर जाती है. और जो सबसे बड़ा एक और प्रॉब्लम जो है एक हॉस्टल में रहते हुए, दैट इज फूड. आई रिमेंबर मेरे कॉलेज का थर्ड ईयर चल रहा है, मुझे याद भी नहीं है मैंने घर जैसा खाना लास्ट टाइम कब खाया. घर में ही खाया था, उसके अलावा मैंने कहीं नहीं खाया था. होमवर्सिटी हैज आल्सो टेकन अ स्टेप टुवर्ड्स दिस एंड यू आर ब्रिंगिंग क्वालिटी फूड्स टू डोर टू एवरी स्टूडेंट इन योर हॉस्टल्स. सो इस चीज के बारे में आप बताओ थोड़ा.
One fine evening at our office, there was a meeting of a lot of hostel owners who came to us, and they was talking about what challenges they are facing in their hostel, and the biggest issue was food. Okay, and already we knew that ki there, like, the most asked question on the platform was khana kaisa hai. Even today my mom calls and the first question is khana khaya nahi khaya. It's a very common thing, right? And what we very quickly found out that if the food is good, if the room is clean enough, the student is happy, right? They don't need a PlayStation and a fancy studio apartment, technically, right? So, but when we started when we started working on the food business, the Homversity Healthy, a lot of people told us that it's a very difficult business, or it will take a lot of your time. But what I believe, again, as I said, just because the problem is big enough, that doesn't mean that there cannot be a solution to it. You know. So we started working on it. So the team works really hard. So for your information, we start working at 2 a.m. in the morning so that the breakfast and the lunch is prepared on time. And the kitchen operates the entire day. The trucks roam around the city entire day, delivering the right set of food in the right set of containers, heated containers, and which are managed. Abhi, this is a learning experience for us also. We are growing every month. We are learning. We are kind of doing an internship with us, with our own company. We make notes step. Okay, how many kgs of this went to this hostel? What was the time the truck left and reached there? Who pulled out the food? Who deployed the food? And who collected the container? Everything is monitored. Okay, it's a very systematic approach, and I hope that we are just trying. We just started with Ahmedabad. Very soon we will be launching in Kota and other cities as well.
That's amazing. So ये तो रहा दुनिया का response. कि how people all across the country was approaching you and what was the change. घर वालों का क्या reaction था? And दोस्तों का क्या reaction था?
I still remember. So we had a watch party at our office. Okay. And then in my cabin where I'm sitting right now, watch party conference room में चल रही थी. Okay. मेरे cabin में इसी laptop के ऊपर एक और watch party चल रही थी जो मेरे college friends की watch party थी. Okay. मेरे phone पे एक और watch party चल रही थी WhatsApp पे जो मेरे family and relatives की थी. So a lot of people were very excited. They were like they were a little bit upset with they were very happy for the first time someone from our family was in national television, and that took a very long duration of time,
like 15-20 minutes.
Yeah. And if you follow Sony Live, Sony, I'm very glad for that Sony did their best to create a hype for Homversity. If you see, they personal notifications for Homversity. Yeah, so because they knew that this has to reach students, because when I was shooting over there, they told कि बस एक चीज तो करके रहेंगे, इंडिया के हर बच्चों तक इस बात को पहुंचाएंगे जरूर, what you're doing, right? And I'm very thankful for that. So they were all watching it. सबका opinion था कि यार very well done. The pitch was very strong, it was ground shaking and all that. वो तो family वो तो compliment देंगे ही हमें. But some of them were upset a little bit about what Anupam sir said.
Yeah, I know कौन होंगे. I know them.
Right. So they were like, you should not have said something like that because it's completely meaningless and out of context.
And demoralizing on the other hand. For not you, but for the other people counting on.
Of course, and don't worry, my team and me and my people do not get demotivated by statements like that. It's television and everybody expects that, to be honest. Yeah, so everyone was very happy. I'm still getting phone calls from all of distant relatives as well. Everybody is watching it. Everybody's resharing it. मैं किसी भी family group में जा रहा हूँ, it is all what is the topic of
conversation there.
So, yeah. So it's an experience, but thankfully, a lot of students. So a lot of students in my family also use our services, and now they go and brag that my bhaiya was on Shark Tank, and I see that happening a lot now. So yeah, it is what the power of prime time television. it makes your brand the household dining table conversation.
True. Even my family was talking about it. Like, even my father was telling me, like, why didn't you book your Delhi hotel hostel from his application? I was like, नहीं था उस टाइम वो वहाँ पे property available नहीं थी. So that's why I have to go to some other places. But I'm pretty sure very soon you are going to be there also. Like, I would also like to present you with all the good wishes. And I know your aim is way bigger, the problem is way bigger, and your courage is already there. So that was Saurav Kumar Sinha, and the founder and CEO of Homversity. So first of all, thank you again, Saurav, for coming back to Geekflare's podcast. And it's a pleasure to know a new version of yours, a new side of the story, how we got to know about Shark Tank, असल में होता क्या है, what are the realities, आपको क्या क्या फायदा हुआ, and क्या क्या चीजें थी. So it's really good, and I hope आप जल्दी ही अपने जवाबों के साथ रेडी रहो by your work. I think the whole India is praying for it. The whole India is counting on it, and from the students, obviously, there are well wishes from the students also. Me personally, as a student, I know what this is and what this is going to be, and I'm pretty sure एक दिन एक शार्क की कुर्सी खाली रहेगी जहाँ पे शायद आप बैठे हो, and that day I think it answers all the questions, all the doubts that has been there. So that was it, and that was Saurav Kumar Sinha with us today. So thank you so much, Saurav, for coming again, and all the well wishes to you.